Well, hello there. I'm going to show you how to make my Wild 8 cowl that I'm about to make. I've already got it to the length I want, and I'm ready to bind it off and do it together, so I'm just going to show you how to do it. And I'm on a 3/4 inch loom, and I used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 pegs. But if you want to have a wider cowl, you can. And I did it 18 inches long, a little over 18. That's about the length of drape that I want. And the yarn that I'm using is Mary Maxim Studio yarn. They don't make it anymore, but if you're lucky enough to have it, it's a bulky. And it is made in Turkey, 65% acrylic, 35% wool, and a really beautiful yarn. And this one is called Cobalt Glass. But if you want a comparable yarn, Lion Brand Scarfy is comparable to it. And also this one, King Cowl Riot Chunky is comparable to it. And so I need to get you caught up to me, so we'll use the King Cowl Riot Chunky. And I'll take my little tag off here. All my tag says is Wild 8 stitch, so I wouldn't forget the name of the stitch because I am doing so many. I'll just stick it on over here. And I'll just put you on pause for a second. Oh, I guess I should tell you the content of the King Cowl. It is 70% acrylic, 30% wool. So very, very similar. And I'll just put you on pause because I'm going to get some markers to mark my ends. Okay, so this is my package with my medium needle knit markers. I use small to just put right on the pegs, but I often use my mediums so that I can mark my end stitches. So I'm just going to take a couple of the blue here and make sure this is closed so they don't all come falling out. And then I'm going to mark it, and I'm going to do a 2-peg edge. So I'm just going to put 2 of them together. So I just take one of these stitch markers and I just twist it like that into a figure 8 and put them down, and it's nice and tight. They don't come off. And when I use one of the smaller stitch markers, it comes really nice. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm not going to make a really big one because I've got one here. I just basically have to show you how to do it. So there we go. And find the end of this yarn, which has a kind of knot in it, doesn't it? Well, I'm just going to cut off this knot. So get my scissors over here, and I'll just use this little piece for different things that I do. Wherever it is, there it is. It'll work good for lifelines and different things that I do. I like it because it's a nice bright color, so it'll work great for that. And I'll get this yarn out of the way, and my bag of some of my swatches I worked up in this yarn out of the way. Okay. And put the yarn here and get some out here. Okay, so I will show you how to cast on. And so to cast on, I just make a slip knot. The yarn cooperates, doesn't bend its own way, and stick it on number 1 peg like that. And then I take my loom hook, which I've lost track of my loom hook. Where did it go? Well, I'm going to grab another one. Just I'll be right back. Okay, I got another loom hook. I got quite a few of these, so good to have. I love these. They were made by We Have a Handle on this, but they're not making loom hooks anymore, so I'm glad I got a few when I could. And then you just go through. So you saw what I just did there. I just go under the yarn, pull up the working yarn so I have a loop, hold on to the loop, and I can tighten that yarn in the back, and then I just wrap behind the second peg, pull the working yarn through. behind the third peg, pull the working yarn through. Behind the fourth peg, pull the working yarn through. And so that's all we're going to do. And slip this on and tighten it. And there we go, we're cast on. And so I would have a nice edge at the bottom here. But I knew I was going to connect this into a cowl. All I did was one row of E-wrap. So I'd have, when I connected up these two, it would look like this at the end. So I just did one row of owl eye stitch. So I'm just going to come back and knit over, knit over. We're at peg 1, we knit over 1 and 2. We're at peg 1, we wrap peg 1 and 2. So wherever our working yarn is peg 1, we wrap peg 1 and 2. That's the owl eye stitch. 1 and 2. Okay, and to keep my sides flat, although I was connecting the cowl, I didn't really have to, but I decided I was going to, because when I first started making this, I didn't know if I was going to make a scarf or a cowl. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come back, and every time I go this way, I'm going to purl the 2 end pegs, but right now I'm going back to go across, so I'm going to knit them. So when I come across, when I hit these, I will be purling them, and when I come back, I'm going to knit them. So that's what I'm going to do to keep the edge from curling, and you get the edge that you see here. This is the wrong side, so you can see the stitch looks like this from the wrong side, and this is what the side looks like with the style that I'm doing to have it at the end. I liked it with this because of the way the stitch looked. I liked the way this edge went, and it's an edge that a lot of needle knitters use, because what a lot of needle knitters will start each row with 1 knit. So when they flip their work and do the knit, for us, because we don't flip our work, that would be a purl. So a knit purl on the edge is a very common way that needle knitters will have their edge looking, so it will look like that. But I decided I wanted 2, so I did more of a garter edge. So 2 purls, and then 2 knits on the way back, 2 purls, 2 knits on the way back. So that's why I have the 2 pegs marked at the side. So here I've tied them together with this, so we'll know they always go together, and they're purl when we're ending the row, knit at the beginning of a row. So we start the row, and then we're just going to knit it. And then we go into our stitch pattern. And this stitch is a really easy stitch. It's 1 row of owl eye, 1 row of double E-wrap. So this way, I'm going owl eye. Coming back, I'm going to do double E-wrap. And so just to take a look at what that does for a stitch. So if this was all double E-wrap, it would be a really quite lacy stitch. And if it was owl eye, you would have a tighter stitch here. So this gives you an in-between kind of stitch. And it's quite pretty. That's what it looks like on the darker. Here's what it looks like up here. Here's what it looks like on the blue. And here's what it looks like on the darker blue. So it's quite a pretty stitch. The reverse side looks nice too. And you do get it, if you do it in a round, you do get a jog going from owl eye to double E-wrap. So I don't mind a jog in a hat, but I didn't want it in a cowl because I often have my hair in a ponytail. So I decided for a cowl I would do it as a flat panel and attach it. And so I am 18 inches long, so I'm pretty much ready to end this. So you can make those decisions, how wide you want it, how far you want to end it, and there you go. So This row, owl eye. So I already showed you how to do owl eye. We do our knit on peg 1 and then we rewrap it. Because when we do owl eye, we want every peg to get 2 stitches on it. And then we just owl eye down to the end. And then that had the 2 wraps on it, but we don't wrap this because when we're coming to the end of the row, we do the 2 purls on the marked pegs. So purl, purl, and then I'm just going to come back and knit, knit. Then we go into row 2, which is double E-wrap. So it's always going to be double E-wrap coming this way. So we just E-wrap the peg, E-wrap it again. That's it. That's the stitch. E-wrap it, E-wrap it again. E-wrap it, E-wrap it again. That's the double E-wrap. E-wrap it, E-wrap it again. E-wrap it. Oh, no E-wrapping. Purl. We hit our end peg. So I do the 2 purls. You can do a different end if you want. This is just the one I decided I would like to use with this, and I tried quite a few, just the one I liked the best. And then I'm going to knit over it. And then I'm ready to do the owl eye again, like that. So we can take a look at what we're getting. We're still quite early on, but there's the stitch starting to form. In there, there's what our cast on looks like. Just like that. It's pulled tight on the loom, so it will be more chain-like like this when we take it off. I'll just do another, finish off the row of owl eye. Make sure I have the 2 stitches on the owl eye. Do my purls at the end. And straighten that out. There we go. Do the other purl. And there we go. And then come over it. And then just do our double E-wrap back. A very easy stitch to do, goes very fast because they're both fairly long stitches. There's another reason I wanted an edge that would work with them. Because if you wanted to slip the edge, the stitches are too long to slip the edge and you would curl. And then quit talking and do the purl, Debbie. Okay, there's the purl. And here's the other purl. And knit over and back into doing owl eye stitch. So that's all there is to it. I don't know if we've done enough to see what it looks like in this yarn, but you see we've got this nice pattern starting here. Really pretty stitch. There it is. And then the other side, so that's what it looks like in this yarn. And then there's our side there, and our other side here. And I like it because I like the way this edge goes with the pattern. It looks like it just blends into it. Okay, so back to the main pattern, and because this is going to get in my road and I'm going to frog this and reuse it, I'm just going to put you on pause and we'll get back to the cowl. Okay, so I'm a little over 18 inches, which is where I wanted to be to do my cast off for the cowl. So I'm just going to pull some yarn out here. And you can do any cast off that you want. And I'm just going to take this off and go back because I started to do another row, which I don't want to do. That back on. There we go. And I'm back here. And I get this out of the road with my name, the Wild 8 stitch on it. And I'm just going to do a loose basic bind off. If you have trouble doing that, do the super stretchy one or do the extra stretchy that I have on my channel. But any kind of a bind off will do. And I'm just going to knit that end peg. And I'm going to come over and knit this one off. And I'm going to do a really loose E-wrap. And then take this off and then even lengthen this a little bit because I want to do a really, really loose. Knit it off. So it's just a really, really loose basic bind off I'm going to do. But an alternate way to do it, and a way that I often do it, is I just put a lifeline through the live stitches and take them off the loom to hold them, and then I don't have to bind off when I connect them. But I wanted a little bit more lofty bind off to go more with the stitches that I used in this project. So that's why I decided to do the basic, but it certainly isn't necessary. And I don't always make the best choice. I just make the one I think is the best at the time. So your choice might be a lot better. And then I just put the last piece of yarn would go through here. And to get my scissors, wherever I left it. Well, I have to find it, so I'll put you on pause. Got it. And I'm just gonna cut this in a fairly long piece and slip it through. And tighten it, and then it's off the loom, so bring it through here, and then you see the piece that we're going to be putting together. And when I put them together, what I want to do is where I bound it off. I'm going to put them, I can attach them on the loom, or I can just go ahead and sew them together. And I'm going to attach it on the loom. So I'm just going to go back here, and I'm going to put it on so that the good side is facing me, or no, the bad side is facing me, because what I want to do is put the good side together, so when I bind it off, the bind off is on the wrong side, and then I can flip it through, so I want the wrong side facing me. And I have this piece of yarn here, which is what I'm going to use to attach them with. But I mean, alternately, you could put a piece of yarn on there or add one if you didn't leave a long enough piece. And then I'm going to look for my end stitch. And there it is, right on the end. And above it is the bind off stitches. So slip it on, slip it on, slip it on. And it can be easier sometimes just to do it from here. there we go. And I'm going to look at it and I'm going to see, okay, how many did I miss? Because there's where the end peg should have been. So I'm just going to carefully put them back on again. That's such an awkward angle. But I want to keep this in the camera. There we go. Make sure I don't miss any. It would be okay to have one short or something, but not that many short. And there we go. I'm closer to it, so I'm going to look, and it looks to see which ones I missed, and I can see 2 strands here. So here's where I missed it. It gets quite tight, and then I'm just going to start slipping them over, making sure that I have them all. There we go. That's tight, and I got that one on. And then I'm going to look at what I have on here. That shouldn't be on. There we go. And okay. And then I'm going to come up from the inside and slip the stitches on. And here's where you want to have them match up as much as possible. And this side has more stretch to it. Okay, so what we're going to do, and it's harder on this color, but we're going to go through and just find the 2 stitches on the end, same way. This color is hard to see, but you just slip them on. So I'm going to put on pause while I do that. And it's a lot easier to slip this one on because it doesn't have the basic bind off on it. It has a different one. Okay, so I'll just put you on pause and I will be slipping this one on. Okay, they're all on and I've got them to all match up. And I've got my working yarn here. And so now all I'm going to do is knit the bottom loop over the top. There we go. And it's really hard for me to see this dark one. There we go. I'm going to get the light colored one and get it over the dark. There we go. Nope, that didn't. Yep, that worked. They almost come over easier with my hands. Over, there we go. Pop them over with my hands here. Gotta go over the dark. And here, where is that dark? There it is. Okay, so just over. There we go. Now they are attached. And, well, we can't really see where they are on that side, but we're attached on the bad side. And then we just need to do a bind off. And I could do a really loose bind off, but it's very, very stretchy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a stretchy bind off. So I'm going to just shorten this a little bit. Now I can shorten it to what I need. So I'm going to wrap it so that it goes around the loom about 2.5 times, and then cut it about here because I don't want to have too much yarn here. And there. And then I'm just going to get a needle, and I shall be right back. Okay, so I've put some, I put a tapestry needle here onto the yarn, and I'm just going to come around and I'm going to put it through number 1 peg, that, and then I'm going to go up. Actually, now I'm going to go down. Got to start somewhere. So I'm going to go down 2, down this peg, and then I'm going to go up the old one again, and now we can start. So we start and we go behind this peg and in front of number 3 peg, and we go down number 3 peg like that, and then up number 2 peg, and then we go behind number 3 peg and in front and go down number 4 peg, and we go up number 3 peg. So a way I look at this is I've just come up this peg, I go behind the peg I had started with, and I go to the new peg, go down the new peg, keeping the working yarn behind. Oh, come on, don't get caught all over the place. Behind the peg we had started at last time, so now we're starting at this peg. We go back to the old peg, and we're keeping this snug as we go. And then we go around and we come and find a new peg, and we go down that new peg, tightening it, back to the old peg to go up, go behind and go into a new peg, tighten it, back to the old peg and go around, down to the new peg, up to the old peg, behind, down the new peg, up the old peg. Whoop. We lost our yarn. Get back onto the needle, you. Okay, and we go behind and down the new peg, up the old one, behind, down the new one, up the old one, behind, down the new one, up the old one, behind, down the new one, up the old one, and then we can't go behind, so we just go down the new one again. There we go, and I'm just going to go down it one more time and pull it tight, and I'm just going to go with the working yarn through it and make a knot, and then I'll be weaving this in, but I just want to secure it so this doesn't all come apart when I come off the loom. And then I'm just going to pop it off. And then we are all connected, and this connection is all on the wrong side. It's a good connection. It has stretch to it. And then we have to weave in any ends, so we'd have to weave in this end. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And we also have an end here from that side to weave in. So I knotted it so it has a bit of already to it, and I'm just going to weave it in here and there. I'm just going to weave it in like that. I'm going to come back and I'm just weaving it into the actual bind off. There we go. And cut it off. And then you have the other end here that had the slip knot in it. And I want to secure this one a little bit better. I'm going to stay on the wrong side, so I'm going to actually take this and pull it up to the wrong side because it was on the right side of the work. And then I'm going to just come in here with it, and I'm actually going to put a little knot here because I want to make sure this one is more secure. There we go. And I'm just going to weave it in. I'll make sure this is in the... And I'm just going to weave it in the same way. I'm just going to weave it into this. And I'm going to weave it back and forth a couple times. And then I'm just going to cut it off. And then we have our cowl done. That's it. That's all we need to do. I'm just going to take it. There it is, all attached. So that all the... There it is. It's attached. Give it a stretch and stretch it out this way. And there you go. There's your cowl, done in the wild 8 stitch. And I don't know if I ever showed you the wild 8s. I should show you why I called it the wild 8s. So you can see we have all these 8s in it. There they are, 8 there, an 8 there, an 8 there, an 8 there. So just full of these 8s. So I called it wild 8 stitch. And there we go. And it's going to be just like I like it. And okay, so there's how to do the wild 8 stitch. So if you'd like to use it in your projects, it's a pretty lacy stitch, and it has a lot of loft to it. It's very soft. And you can use it in the round. I would use it for hats. You have a bit of a jog. The stitch looks very much the same. It's slightly different. It doesn't have quite the same angles, but it looks nice. But where you go from one wrap to the other, you have a little bit of a jog. So you will notice that this is where you change stitches in the round, so you can just keep it at the back. With a slouchy hat where it's slouched over it, it would work really well. I may be making a hat using this stitch, but currently I don't have it. So I'm just telling you that you can use it in the round, and you will have to do something with the jog. Okay, so until next time, bye.